Well, it's Saturday. Me and my little friend Twinkie here. Um, we're just about ready to do another session of accepting the saddle. When I went to go get this filly just a few minutes ago, I walked out and her waterer in her pen was spraying everywhere. And that's just part of ranch life. Is not only do these things make us work really hard at getting them broke, but they also love to add some extracurricular work for us on Saturdays and Sundays. So she is wet. She is not sweaty. Um, and we are going to kind of just jump right into it. Um, our last session, if you saw it, she still had some pretty spastic moments, but nothing. She didn't get out of control. She wasn't she wasn't overly excited about the whole saddle thing, but she didn't lose her mind either. She started kind of coming to the conclusion that this isn't going away. So again, like last time, I'm not going to beat the saddling process to death. I find a lot of people can really get a little carried away with the sacking out process and just doing too much on the ground and doing too much, being almost too cautious with certain things. And in turn, they're actually creating more of an issue because you're letting them know, hey, there might be something to worry about right here. Where, now if she was to completely try and leave town when I go to swing a saddle on her or whatever, I would most certainly go back and work on that some more. But right here, she's going to dance around a little bit when I go to sling it up on her and do whatever. But overall, it's pretty acceptable. She's accepting it pretty decent, and I'm willing to not make a big deal out of her moving 2 steps and brightening up just a little bit when I sling the saddle on, as long as she's willing to come back down and allow me to finish putting it on. So, as you can see so far, we're doing all right. Again, I always just take a hold of this cinch and just pull it up towards their wither before I even try and attempt to put a lather go through it. To me, it's just, hey, this thing is going to get snug on you here in a second, so just be okay with that, and if they're not okay with it, at least we don't have it tied on too loose to where, if she jumps and things go wrong and the saddle ends up on the ground, it's, it just falls on the ground. That definitely hinders our progress, but it's better than it being underneath them halfway tied on. So we just try and do as many things to help us continue to the next step without taking steps backwards. So here we are. We have her snugged up, not overly tight. The saddle's not by any means choking the life out of her. If she really got carried away, chances are it could roll on her a little bit, but we're gonna just, it's snug enough to where it's not gonna just roll underneath her for no reason. So we're gonna walk her forward a few steps, kind of like we've been doing, and then I'll snug it up another hole or so. And again, like she's brighter here than I want her to be, but we just gotta be patient, and we just gotta let her have her little moments of, I don't like this here, not acceptable. So I'm gonna pull on her, like pull on her. This isn't acceptable. We should be very much past this stage right now, but she's gonna hold on to it just a little longer, and it's just, she's gonna have to just get over it at this point, because again, I'm not gonna allow it. I don't mind tight. I don't mind her being a little abrasive to this process, but now today is just more of a, I don't like this and we're not doing it. And sorry, sister, you had your day off yesterday. You had plenty of time on Thursday to work through some of this. So now you're on my time. Now, this doesn't mean I'm going to beat her up, or it doesn't mean that I am mad with her because of this. It's very much the opposite. It's like raising children, like you want them to figure things out, and, sometimes gentle parenting just doesn't do it, and it doesn't mean I'm going to be rough on her. It just means that at a certain point, she's had plenty of opportunity to figure out how to make things work and how to reduce the amount of worry to make some of this pressure go away. And we've darn sure shown her that when she gets uptight and worried, that her job gets harder. And we've also shown her that when she just kind of relaxes and accepts it, her job gets easier. So now I'm here. You'll notice at the tail end of our video the last time was when she kind of elected to kind of be abrasive. I stepped in and said, no, ma'am. We're past this point now. You're allowed to be worried. No one's going to ever put you in trouble for being worried. But when you understand, or when you start figuring out that relaxing make things better, and then you still choose to overreact, then we're going to have something to say about that. I'm going to intervene. So again, here she's not being bad necessarily. She knows she's going to blow up, so she's trying to avoid going forward. I know she's going to blow up. She knows she's going to blow up. And I want to get in the middle of it so we can start addressing it. So right here, no ma'am. Redirect. No ma'am. So now I'm going to expedite this process just a little bit by intervening and getting in front of her whenever she chooses to be too tight. Now I'm going to get in the middle of her business a little more and redirect her. And it's not trying to be mean. It's just, girlfriend, you're trying the same thing over and over again, and it's not working. So I'm going to catch you in the middle of a moment, and I'm going to redirect your thought process here. Until you come up with a different answer. This is okay for me. I'm good with this. So she gets a little more reign. She gets a little more freedom, a little more space to work things out. Obviously, this is still a pretty tight space. It's 36 by 36. So she doesn't have just a ton of room to get careless in here, but she's out there, it's a little bit easier for her to relax. Where if she was to start bronking again or just overreacting again, I'm going to start tightening up her space that she's allowed to do that in. So as you can see, she's got a little more rein to work with, and she's not relaxed, not even remotely relaxed, but at least she's functioning. She's going forward. She's not out of a position, and she's trying to work it out. But the more if she was to start getting a little too committed to bracing up or doing whatever, I would start reducing the size of the circle she's allowed to do that in. And not for me to gain more control. It's more to make it harder for her. So again, we're not telling her she can't react. We're just telling her that if you react, life is going to get a little bit harder if you overreact. I'm okay with you being cautious. I'm okay with you being uncomfortable. I'm okay with you trying to figure out how to make alleviate some pressure. What I'm not okay with is you just checking out altogether. I'm not okay with that. So you've got to come up with a different plan than buck or brace. You've got to learn how to start accepting that we have a job to do here, and it's going to take some rational thinking to get the job done. Because the more we use rational thinking, the easier the job will be, and it will also make it to where we don't have to be in here all that long. If she had to come out here today on our third saddling or fourth saddling or whatever we're on now, and let me saddle her up and walk her off and then trot off and settle in fairly quick, we'd already be back in the pen. I'm not looking to make a big deal out of this. But we also have to address the elephant in the room of you got to learn how to accept this stuff in order for us to move to the next step. And I'm not trying to rush the steps, because it honestly, it takes as long as it takes, but I am going to, the further we get into this, I am going to increase my expectations of what I'm willing to accept and not accept. This, great. I'm good with this. If we had started out with this, the saddle would be off already. She'd be getting a shower, and we'd be heading back to the pen so I can fix her water. But that's not what we started out with, so it's going to take a little longer. Now, if she continues this frame of mind where we're moving her ears, her eyes are softening, she's licking her lips, she's moving forward, she's got a nice cadence about her, then we're going to take that as a win. You'll notice she's a little more hesitant about going forward this way, where she kind of got a little bit in trouble. Not in trouble, but where I kind of intervened a little bit. Well, that was a good learning opportunity right there. So again, she's not the picture perfect definition of relaxed right here, but we're not bucking. We're kind of going along. She's able to lope today, if you'll notice, a little easier, because I think last time she wiped out like twice, and I think she's figuring out that life is a little easier when you put your hock up underneath you and stand up straight. When you drop your shoulders in and start rabbit kicking around trying to trying to make things go away as fast as you can, you kick your feet out from underneath you and you end up on your side, and then you're really vulnerable to predators. So we're going to use a little bit of that survival instinct of hers to work to our advantage. Of she don't want to fall down, I promise you. So last time when she busted her butt a couple times, I think that kind of changed her way of thinking just a little bit. So right here, we're okay with this right now. It's not ideal. I wouldn't call this a perfect session by any means, but we're darn sure heading in the right direction. We're coming to just kind of accept it and go forward and relax quicker than we were last time, and definitely quicker than we were the time before. So right here, I'm not whipping her hard. I'm just trying to make her a little bit more uncomfortable to where she goes forward. I don't want her up here on top of me. I also want her she needs to go forward. Forward is going to be our answer for a lot of things. Where she's not wanting to go forward as much this way, or she's got forward with a lot more brace. So here too, what I'm doing is she's going forward a little bit. She goes, okay, is this good enough? And then she kind of tries to break and come to me before she really truly gives me a good forward release. So whenever she's kind of quitting on me early, premature, before she's actually doing what I'm aiming for her to do, which is relax, go forward, she's trying to shortchange me on it just a little bit, because she wants to come in here and stand, which I'm not necessarily against, but we need to start coming closer to the horse I'm going to need to ride. Not that I'm planning on getting on this filly. I don't know when I'm going to get on this filly. It might take another day of this, or it might take another month of this. It's just going to depend on her. So there, she was going forward, more relaxed, more willing. So I'm going to let her stand, but I don't know if you could see it the time before and the time before that. She would go forward a little bit, but she was always tight. She never truly did relax her neck or her body for more than a stride or two, and then she'd try and quit. Where I need her to start carrying on a little more. I want her to start being able to go forward willingly and relaxed with the saddle cinched up for more than 2 strides. She needs to start being able to maintain it just a little bit more. So today is very much I wouldn't say it's a more aggressive approach, more as it's more of a you know what you need to do, so just do it. I'm not really entirely sure why my dog thinks she needs to come in here and help me, but she thought it was going to be a good idea to come in here and help, which I don't know if Twinkie is quite ready for 2-on-1 just yet. So we're going to try just one more little element to add, because we're gonna be double uncomfortable. Yeah. So if you'll notice, trying to make this filly go forward with just a lead rope, I was getting to where I was having to whack on her quite a bit, and I don't want to whack on her. I don't want to have to do too much physical contact with her to get her to go forward. So I'm going to use something else here that has a little more of a visual, a little more of a audible cue for her to go forward without me having to step in there and having to tap on her butt too much, because right now her feeling is she has a lot of feel. So if I go in there and start whacking on it, the only reason she's not going forward is because she's tight. But if I go to whacking on her, she's going to be tight, and it's going to make her more tight. And she's going to start bracing against me tapping on her versus going forward, which is what I'm looking for. So I'm adding another tool to help us kind of get there. So this little colt pen, I noticed someone asked my thoughts on a square pen versus a round pen, and honestly, I've started more colts in a 50-foot round pen than I have anything else. I've started them out in the middle of an arena with just a halter and a lead rope, and I've started them in a 50-foot round pen, and I've started them in a 30-foot round pen. I've started horses in a lot of different scenarios. And this pen here is obviously, as you can see, we're not in a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art facility. We are in a very modest but functional area right now. This used to be an equipment barn, and when we bought this property, we really did not have much intentions of moving our business over here as fast as we did. But when we decided that economically it made it a lot more sense for us to train horses out of our property versus have a property and still rent stalls somewhere, we had to kind of get a little bit creative on a budget. And this equipment barn, with some encouragement from my friend Donnie Bricker, ended up being our indoor arena. It's not very big. It's 36 by 36 is the little area we work in, and I built 2 extra stalls up here off the side of it. But I truly do think it is one of the most functional pens I've ever started colts in, especially ones like her, because it's kind of crucial to horses like her to be able to not get away completely without having to try and wrangle on them too much. Good girl, Twinkie. So this square pen was kind of on accident. It's not necessarily, if I was building this place from scratch, I don't know if I would have thought to do it, honestly. But I can tell you, after working in it and starting as many colts as I have in it over the past couple of years, I can honestly say if I ever built another place from scratch, I would darn sure do this again. I would lay it out a little different on the outside of it, but the area and being square and everything, I think it darn sure allows me to take a horse like this and be able to get a lot done versus in a bigger area with no corners. I'm not sure if anything I've said just right now just makes sense to my explanation on it, but it's kind of hard for me sometimes to speak and concentrate at the same time. But right here, right here, I'm quite happy with what I'm getting done. Right now, we're moving forward. See how this filly's cadence has changed completely, even from the last video to where she's actually loping now. And that means this filly is actually standing up straight enough to lope a circle in a 36 by 36 building. And as a baby, that's pretty impressive. So again, we're a little more wrung out than I'd like to be. We didn't start out perfectly, but I mean, from our last time saddling her and working her to this time, I mean, we did have a more of a blow up of a start than we did last time, but we also condensed the amount of time it took for her to actually settle in and use herself properly to find a good quitting spot. And right here, like, I'm going to let her just breathe and blow and do whatever she needs to do. But, you know, last time she never did truly engage in a lope. We had her trotting around pretty decent by the end of it, but she was still slipping and sliding everywhere trying to lope. Where this time, I mean, she actually picked her back up, had her hock up underneath her, and she was actually moving forward with some relaxed look in her neck and everything. So I was very, very pleased with that. She's still like, I'm not really sure about this, dude. I'm not 100% committed to the idea that this is a good idea. She said, I kind of like being out in my pasture more. But horses like this, I think it's very important to know that a horse's thought process is so much different than a human's. I don't think they're vindictive. Um, you know, I don't think any of this is. I don't think this filly is taking her day off and thinking, you know, I think next time this guy saddles me up, I'm gonna buck and I'm gonna just show him what it is. I don't think they have that kind of mentality. I don't think there's anything malicious about this filly's intent to get the saddle off her back. I think it's just pure survival. And, you know, they're like us. They don't come out the same every day as far as, you know, they're not going to do the same thing every day in this stage. They're going to try different things. They're going to try and figure out a quicker, more efficient way to find a release. So today she thought, well, maybe if I just, instead of running it out, maybe if I try and bronk it off of me, maybe I can get that saddle off of me that way. And she quickly realized that really wasn't much of an option. But I hope you guys can see the difference between this time and last time. Even if it didn't get off to such a smooth start, we got off to a much smoother finish. And I feel like right now I'm in a good frame of mind with this filly. I wish for her sake that she didn't make it harder on herself today to get there, because I was truly hoping that I was just going to be able to saddle her up, move her around me a little bit, make her go forward, her tighten up a little bit, and then settle in and relax and finish how she finished. I was hoping we were going to get there without having to have the big episodes or the, you know, being all sweaty and out of breath and again. But like I keep saying with this horse, it's going to take time, and it's going to take however much time it needs to take. It's not going to, there's no deadline with this mare. There's no deadline with this horse. It's just whenever she lets me get on her, or whenever she tells me, hey, I'm ready, that's when we're ready. And we're very fortunate that her owners are people that have that same mentality of, it's when she's ready. It's not when we want her. She doesn't have to be a futurity horse. If she doesn't make a futurity horse, no one cares. If she doesn't make a reining horse, no one cares. We just want to make her a functional horse. We want to make her a horse that is confident and pleasurable to ride and pleasurable to be around. And however long that takes is however long that takes. And I think that's very much a sigh of relief in this industry, is to be able to start nice horses with no deadline. Because a lot of things are about getting one ready for the futurity. A lot of things are getting one ready to sell. It's about getting them ready for the Derby, or it's getting about ready for, we put so many deadlines and expectations on ourselves and these horses that I think I think when we put so many unrealistic expectations on a horse like this, I think we could have very easily ruined this filly. Whereas just taking our time, they don't care if I spend the next 30 days saddling this horse like this, or the next 6 months. If that's what it's going to take to get this filly ready, then that's what I am authorized to do. That's what I am going to do. And the end result will, I'm not saying this horse is going to go win the futurity or make the level 4 open finals or be a great non-pro horse as a 3-year-old. She might not even make a 3-year-old. We might still be here. We might still be here trying to saddle her up as a 3-year-old for all I know. But whatever it's going to take to make this filly confident, relaxed, and functional is what we're going to do. And obviously we want to do it in the most economical fashion, and do it in a way that makes sense. But we also are not going to put any pressure on this filly to work on our timeline. We're going to work within hers a little bit, and I think the end result is going to be we have a very nice horse to work with. No matter what she turns out to be, I think she'll end up being a nice horse. And I think we need to adapt that mentality a lot more when we're training these horses, is to focus more on making nice horses. And then if they happen to be talented enough or good enough minded to be top competitors or top non-pro horses or whatever, then fine. But if not, they need to be able to have a place that isn't at a vet clinic because they're crippled, or kicked out because they're fried, or traded off to the horse trader for something else. I think we just ruined so many of them. Oh, got another little spot here. I think we just ruined so many of them trying to work within a deadline that there's a lot of nice horses that just don't make it because of that. So I don't mean to get off on too much of a tangent. It's just something that I really care about, and it's something that I think needs to be adapted more, or needs to be adopted more into more programs, is actually to benefit the horse more than we do things to benefit ourselves or our business. So I'm hoping to see some more of that mentality come into our industry. We're still got some stuff to work on, but I think we are just about out of horse for today. And I'm not going to make a big deal out of this right now. We're going to start here again on Monday. So stay tuned. Like I said, this wasn't a perfect session by any means, but these videos, I want to. A lot of the reason I picked this filly to do a little more extensive videoing on, and to kind of go through some of my theory, has a lot more to do with just kind of showing the public the reality a of a program. You know, we all love to show off the, oh, this colt has 2 rides and he's out there loping around with his head down on the track. Um, you know, but that's truly not reality. I mean, it might have 2 rides, but it might have 3 months of getting bit up or tied around or whatever, or it might just be an exceptionally nice horse too. I'm not saying that all that stuff is fake. I'm just saying that I chose this filly because you see a lot on social media of people going around with their colts with 3 rods on them, and you know, those horses look incredible, and in a lot of cases they are incredible horses, and they are exceptional individuals. But for your average Joe trying to start their own colt, you know, or for a smaller program like mine that don't have access to world class horses all the time, you know, I wanted to kind of dive into more of a realistic view of what starting a cult looks like in my day-to-day world. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. And again, we will revisit this filly on Monday. She's going to get the rest of the weekend off, and we'll see where we are on Monday. So thank you all for watching. And again, if you all have any questions, just please feel free to message me or call me or whatever. So thank you.